Like yesterday, I thought I would focus on some of the senses. And with the 22nd of the 2nd, 2022, it's very much a moon energy, which is fluid, which is water, and very much connected to the emotions, among other things. If you read Lucy's very lovely website, which is www.yourguidinglight.org. She's an astrologer. She writes her training courses for the Astrological Society or Association up in London. So I've known her for quite a long time. It's quite interesting. Her partner links in with numerology as well. It's very complex mathematically, so all a bit beyond me, but quite interesting anyway. The planetary influence.
All these charts.
All these charts.
Loads of
Don't really
charts.
understand. So come to standing feet hip width apart. And just find your balance by just lifting your toes and then just placing your toes down. Just slightly rocking forwards and backwards. And then perhaps side to side. Just feel that you can adjust your feet as well. Lift and roll the shoulders. Place one hand on the navel. Just take one hand behind at your lower back. And just press the hands slightly together so that you're just aligning and lifting up. Connecting into the core. And then drop your hands. Tighten your knees and then just release and let them go. And feel yourself just release a little bit more. Turn your head to the left as you breathe in. And right as you breathe out. And again, in your own breath pattern, left as you breathe in, and right as you breathe out. And come to centre. Lift and roll one shoulder back, and lift and roll the other shoulder back, opening the energetic pathways up into the head. And then bringing the hands to the heart centre in prayer position. Namaskar Mudra, and just look to the tips of the fingers. And you might feel yourself again lifting at the chest, which again is very uplifting for the mood. And then soften the knees and circle the arms up, straightening the knees. Palms together, stretch up. And then breathing out, circle the arms down. And breathing in, circle the arms up, stretching up. And breathing out, circle the arms down. And then bring the hands to the heart centre. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Come back to the centre. And breathing out, turn the head to the right. And come back to the centre. And then soften the knees. Circle your arms up. Stretch up. Clasp your hands and reverse them upwards. You can stay still or looking slightly up if that works for your neck. And then bring your head to centre as we do a lateral to, I'm going to my left, but really doesn't matter. And try and keep your head equally between your arms. And you can see I'm not quite doing that. Breathing in, coming up, and breathing out, go to the other side. Chin into the chest and feel that you're almost between two panes of glass, so you're not coming forward too much. Breathing in, coming up, and then breathing out, lower the hands and just place them on the waist. Opening the lungs, opening under the arms, your upper lymphatic system. And then breathing out, turn your head to the left. Breathing back and breathing as you turn your head to the right. And back to the centre. This time turn your whole body to the left. Slight rotation. Come back to the centre. And then just turn your whole body to the other side. And come back to the centre. And engaging the core, which is believed to be protection against disease. Maybe have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Just simply bend your knees. You might come forward slightly. You just feel the abdominal engagement of your lower abdomen, and then breathing in, coming up and release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then just very gently tap here, either with your fingertips, or if you want a more robust tapping, you can use your knuckles. Between under the collarbones where the shoulder is, it's a K27 point, so connecting into the kidney engine tube, fluidity, very much prevalent in this time, astrologically. And then a nod to the sinuses. Just come to very gently release your tapping and just bring your fingertips underneath your eye and just tap ever so gently underneath your eye area, right up into the inner eye and then out to the outer eye. So that's your sinus, but it's nice to then expand that and just tap around the temples and then tap on the eyebrows. And then just around again, just a little circle around the eye socket. Doesn't matter which way you go. And then with sinusitis, you can get headaches and terrible misery. So again, just take your fingertips and just bring them to the centre of the forehead. And just very, very lightly, almost pull your fingertips away over to the temples, and just when the hands come up. And meet again, just fingertips together, and just draw your fingers across and off. And a third time. And those fingertips can move up or down. So if you wanted to focus on your sinuses, you would just then take your fingers slightly lower and just smooth them out over your cheekbones, off the cheekbones. A couple of times, that's quite soothing. How much pressure or is up to you, but very gentle is quite nice. And you can go a little bit lower and go under your jawbone up to behind the ears because they get impacted as well. And when your fingers go up to your ears, then just drop your hands. It's underneath the earlobe and underneath, behind the jaw, just underneath there, just that bone. I don't know what that bone bit's called.
It's your jaw.
Your jaw.
Your mandible.
Mandible. Just massage there because that, funnily enough, impacts in your sinus, your eyes, your ears, everything. And if you're being very Ayurvedic about this, which is the medicine side of yoga, you would rotate your fingers anti-clockwise first, getting rid of negativity, and then clockwise second. And depending on your dosha, it varies on how many times you massage. So they tend to take a midway point, just massage. It doesn't matter whether you go one way or the other, just massage what feels good for you, how it feels good for you. And then just releasing that, and then just take the hands here at the hairline and just, again, just part and go down, almost coming off at the ears. That's very soothing as well for the sinus and headaches and muck that might be accumulating, which is all very miserable. And then you can move your fingers slightly back to the crown and just go down slightly further. A couple of times. And then of course you can start at the top and just go down the back of the head. You're going to the occiput, I remember that, Charlotte. At the back of the head, you've got acupressure points there. So when you're feeling really miserable, sinusy, it's all quite nice just to massage, just kind of relieve the pressure. And this series of yoga where you're touching your face and connecting is found in the Himalayan Institute for for yoga. I've added some extra points in, but that's very much part of that, which is quite nice. And then just release and lift and roll your shoulders. And then setting up the movement through the whole body. I'm not going to suggest jumping today, but I am going to suggest just lifting up the feet and just walking as you're connecting your feet to the ground. It sets up a vibration throughout the head. And a mindfulness practice to change your perspective is to turn a quarter turn to your right and just do a few steps that way. Because you're changing direction. And then turn it another quarter so you're facing opposite to where you started. And then when you're ready, another quarter turn. And then another quarter turn back to the original. And changing direction like that subtly alters your, is it proprioception? It alters proprioception, and it alters your mind, so you connect.
What was that word? Sorry.
Proprioception. Proprio means your own. Perception means like perception.
Right.
So your perception of yourself, your perception of your position of yourself.
Proprioception alters, and it just disconnects you fractionally from your thought process. So if you're very stressed, especially with children, they love to stamp their feet, but getting them to turn around just slightly resets their energy when they're being noisy. Darlings, when they're being absolute darlings, yes. So just lift and roll the shoulders, and this time just clasping behind you, so you're opening up the, this K27, you're opening up the lung meridians here, and aim the knuckles to the ground, just lifting up, very uplifting for the mood, to lift the chest, anti-depression. You'll feel the stretch at the front of the body, giving space for the organs. Something I do, which I shouldn't, I flare my ribs open. You're supposed to take the ribs and just, even here, just bring them in almost like magnet points, just bringing your ribs together and in, and I find that very difficult, but that is just one of the instructions.
Hard to do.
Hard to do. I just let everything hang out, but you're meant to just bring your ribs in because you're leaking energy when you just let your ribs flare out. But I find that really difficult to do because I naturally tend to stretch, but you're supposed to have a sense of clip fitting your ribs, not to flare them out. But anyway, that's just a very small minor point. And then just turn to the left and come to the centre. And then turn to the right. Come to the centre. Release the hands and just circle the wrists up, just stretching out like sun rays, like your star, looking up. If your chin will take that in your neck, and then head upright as you circle your arms down. And just open and close your hands. So stiffness from post-illness can lead to toxins accumulating, even if you don't suffer from arthritis. I don't know why. And it can accumulate in the joints if you have that tendency. So just circling, just gently pulling, gives a kind of space, circling and just pull one way or the other.
I can feel it in my fingers a bit.
Can you?
A couple of weeks. Yeah, it's a bit, this is a bit suspect, slightly arthritic, and it's certainly playing out a bit, which it normally comes from time to time, doesn't it?
So that's just quite a nice thing to do, and also if you're doing lots of close work, it just releases you, and again, and then just shake your hands out. And again, just lift and roll your shoulders. So I'm not going to do this, but when you've had a respiratory issue or protection against respiratory, there are 3 movements that you can make, and we'll just do a couple of each rather than the full range of them. First one targets the upper lungs, so breathing in. And last one, and then just lift and roll your shoulders, lift and drop. That's the upper lungs. You can do that for up to 25 times. That's the upper lungs. And then the mid lungs, to clear them, hands almost loose, fists under the arms, loosely, and that chicken wings, breathing in, and almost your elbows connect with your ribs to loosen the intercostal muscles. And last one. And then just loose your hand, lift and roll your shoulders again. Just one of these three exercises will boost your immunity. All three will really boost it. And if you really are concerned about boosting your immunity, about 25 times for each one, and you can do it throughout the day. And then the third and last one empties the lower lungs. The ceremonial, as Tibetan way of doing it, is that they circle the wrists symbolically, particularly at the moment because of the kidney edge, you just draw your hands behind your kidneys and then go breathing out from the mouth. But we'll do the non-Tibetan one. I just wanted to show you that, which is just last one, and then just release, lift and roll the shoulders. So any one of those exercises is very good.
How many should we do?
25.
25 of this one.
Yes. Strengthens your core, you can feel your tummy muscles coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seals your energy because with abdominal muscles coming in, you're not leaking energy out to the world. Givers tend to leak energy to people. If you're very, people take energy, and that's where you can lose it. Not just here, people think of the front, also the back. So it's think of a protector around you. So yes, those three. It's on my website as an immune booster on the front page, and I think I've got some of those there. Final on the sinus, which I'm sure you'll never do. Have you ever neti pots? Salted water.
I've got one of those things called Sterimar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes right up.
Yes.
And then, yeah, it's been
Is it
helpful
flush?
actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it has. Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
Salt water, saline water,
Yeah.
seawater.
So just hands up, stretching up, and then out, stepping out. And again, we're going to just twist, feel that you can adjust your feet. Just really make it exaggerated first. Let your head follow your movement. This is getting you all five energies. Oh yes, thank you. Coming forward, bashing your nose out. So all five energies. Again, that flowing of energy, particularly after you've been ill, that stiffness, that those toxins accumulate, that all of that. I did training, would you believe, for prisons and institutions where the approach to it is very different because half of them are drugged out, and with the drugs comes stiffness and toxins in their system. So again, quite interesting. But that's very interesting because psychologically, most of them can't close their eyes because they're so wired for trouble and trauma in their lives. So you can never ask a prisoner to close their eyes. And people who are very institutionalised, they feel unsafe. And also meditations are a big no-no when you start describing beautiful beaches and wooded glades where they might have been assaulted or had some knife attack going on. So it's quite interesting how you've got to modify your language. But again, this is very helpful for just re-energising and rebooting. System just come to standstill. Completely disturbed your energy. And then hands together at the heart centre, feet into the ground, soften the knees, hands up, stretching up. Bring the hands through the centre. And we're going to half lift. Slide the hands down to the shins. Press the hands into the shins, half lift. Lengthening from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, softening in. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, stay here. And breathing in, softening the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Hands up, stretching out under the arms, the upper lymphatic system, and breathing out, lower the hands. And we'll do that again, hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees, circle the arms up, stretch up, hands together, palms together. Come through the heart centre, soften the knees, hands come to the shins, half lift, breathe in and engage your perineum, which is an unusual instruction. You'll forget it and then relax as you the perineum as you breathe out. Just curling. Breathe in, half lift again, and stay here as you breathe out. And then soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretching up. I mentioned about the senses at the beginning of the class, lift and roll the shoulders. So hands out, and then just hug yourself, soften the knees and come forward and just gently sway from side to side. So sensing, you're touching, really feeling, centre of compassion, self-love. And then remember which hand's on the top as you stand up again. Open the hands out, open from the heart centre, stretching out under the arms. Those back wings, if anybody's got any, which mine are covered at the moment. And then the other hand on the top, and just come through. And then just circle. Sway from side to side, and then just open the arms out, and then lower. Lift and roll the shoulders. So we're going to come to the sight. The eyes are the fire energy, and they link to the Manipura, which is also fire energy and digestion. I'll be interested in your view, but in Ayurveda, and I've just had one eye consultant confirming this. I took a friend once, and he was from India, and he said, yes, it's right, but most people will never do that and will not be bothered. But the eyes and the stomach are very much related, and if you do eye exercises and monitor your diet, the eye will respond positively and your sight can change as and people don't think that it can, because it's a subject to your diet as much as anything else is. But because, like anything like your hips, we move our hips in one way, and we don't always give us a full rotation, and the eyes are the same. We don't always rotate the eyes through their full motion, so where the muscles aren't used properly, they then become slightly stiff, and hence, and gravity and age anyway, because I wear glasses. So, stepping forward with your left foot, feel it coming out further if you need more balance, and your right foot is slightly at 45 degrees. So it's the stance that you take from Warrior 1, but this is very modified. Just make a very gentle fist with your right hand and just have your thumb extended. And you're going to watch your thumb as you circle forward. The idea is not to twist on your hips too much, but I can see that I'm doing that, so I find that impossible. You're meant to turn your body and turn your head to follow your thumb, but I am turning my hips, so as you're watching your thumb, your eyes are rotating. Notice where they jump. You're also doing a shoulder and neck exercise, and it becomes a mindfulness exercise. And then just reverse your turn, so as you finish up with your arms, setting your shoulders in the right position backwards. So just again, you're going very slowly. If your shoulders or neck are stiff, then you can bend your elbows so that you're not doing such a rotation. Ideally, arms straight, but bending your elbow is fine. So looking up anyway disconnects the brain from the stress centres, so that becomes mindfulness in any case. And then to finish with your last one, stretching up and back. Just lift and roll the shoulder and step back with your left foot. And just a couple of times. And then stepping forward with your left foot, that's right, isn't it? Yes? Right foot, thank you. Good job, someone's on the ball. Foot out again, back foot, 45 degrees-ish, be comfortable. And again, make a very loose fist with your left hand and circle forwards, just watching your. So, if anyone's interested in perfect eyesight,
Yes.
with diet and everything else, if you followed a diet prescribed in one of the manuals that I've got, which is terribly boring, lots of vegetables, lots of warmed chicken broth, and almost like Chinese stir-fry type sort of things, lots of warm water and mung beans and all those sort of things, and you followed that for 6 months, your ailments would totally go, and your eyesight would be restored if you're doing some of these exercises. And then just reverse your hand the other way, just stretching up. Notice where your eyes jump is where perhaps, the extremities of a circle, where they don't normally go. And again, how much you want to lift your chin up and look up is up to you, but it's very slow, it's very gentle. And then just lift and roll the shoulders and bring your leg back. If you wanted an eye exercise without going through that, put your thumb out, whichever is your dominant hand. That's the centre of your clock. You don't have to keep your thumb out, you can just mentally imagine that and drop your hand. And then keeping your head still, with your eyes look up to your 12 o'clock, up to the top of the head. Come through the centre and look to your 6 o'clock, so down towards your nose or at the bottom. Come to the centre. Look to your 3 o'clock, keeping your head still. Come to the centre and look to your 9 o'clock, head still. Look up to your 12 o'clock again and go round slowly clockwise. Notice where you jump and where you think about like a Rolex watch where the ticking is very smooth, it's not jumping, and I'm jumping automatically as I'm going down to 20 past and 25 past and 25 to. And then when you're back to 12, go round to anti-clockwise. Slow is good. And then just bring your thumb up again. Just bring your thumb towards you, making sure that as it comes towards you, you adjust. And when you can't adjust any longer, that's all too much, then just sort of stop. And drop your hand. And then look into the distance and just imagine you're looking at a mountain or at a distant thing. You're squinting almost to see people, little people. They look very small in the distance. You're looking at them. That's altering your eye focus again as you're just kind of looking into the distance. That's an eye focus alteration. And then to finish that, palming, you've got lots of nadis or energy points in the hands. And if you rub them together, it creates an electrical kind of current, which is very soothing for the eyes. If you then place your warmed hands over your closed eyes and open the eyes into the darkness of the hands and then just move the hands away. And those eye exercises are brilliant for keeping general health and muscle of the eye moving, because as we get older, like everything else, gravity and
Muscles
Old age.
muscle.
old age, we had a lovely talk about that. Sue was creaking as she got up from the ground. Her arthritis, oh dear. So then just lift and roll your shoulders, and we'll just do coming to the top of the mats. Circle the hands up, stretching up. Palms together, just come through the centre as you bring your hands to the ground. Step back with your right foot for a nanosecond, keep it high, and then right knee to the ground. Just stretch into the hip, looking along the mat or up. And then slide your left leg back. Feet tucked to open your lungs or flat. Dipping in, looking either up or along the mat, and then rounding chin to chest. Dipping in, I know Rosie, you might need to make your modifications here, and dipping, rounding chin to chest. Then look over your right shoulder a little bit, look over your left shoulder, and then just start to sway the hips as you look right to left. There's no way to go. You can either look in the direction of your sway of your hips or away from. So yogically, you look away, you move your head away from the direction of your hip sway. It doesn't matter. And then bring your hands. Just trying to think which one it was. Hands to the left, and step your right foot forward. The other one, and just come into stretching the right hip. And then just very gently slide the right leg back. And come to have your knees apart, big toes together, make fists with your hands, and come to rest your forehead on your fist. Sometimes coming to bring your head right down on the mat can give you a slight head rush, or this is just keeping your heart absolutely kind of parallel to the ground. It's not quite such a dip. You're stretching out your lower back. You feel that you're breathing into your kidneys, connecting your breath to your kidneys. So that fluid energy again that's very prevalent at this time astrologically, to the moon, kidneys, water, energy, element. Just breathing in and out. Then breathing in, bring your knees slightly together. Kneel up. If anybody says I can't kneel up, just say, because I can alter that. You all right to kneel up? Yes. Stretching up. Clasp and reverse your hands. And then just go to one side. Stretch up to the centre. And then just go to the other side. Once more, stretch up to one side, it doesn't matter which. Come to the centre and stretch up. And then open the hands, stretching out the heart centre, and then lower the hands. One hand at the navel, one hand at the back. You can have the back of the hand there. Lengthen the body and just turn to look over the left shoulder. Doesn't matter if you've gone the other way. Take an in and an out breath. And then gently come back and swap your hands over to turn to look over your right shoulder. And come to the centre. Release the hands. Just once more come as a nanosecond to have fists again. Maybe you may have the knees a bit wider. Just take a couple of breaths in and out just to come forward and release your back. Just focus on breathing in and just slightly engaging your perineum in breath in this series and releasing as you breathe out. And then pressing the elbows down, coming to upright and then dropping your bottom to the side to sit and spread, extend your legs. And just bounce your legs. Extend your heels up, toes forward, up and down a couple of times. And circle your ankles in one direction. And circle your ankles in the other direction. That vibrational aspect again, just big toe joints together. And just close your eyes for a moment and feel the vibrations. So try and follow it. Where is it going to? It should be going almost at the head, although you're not aware of that. And that vibration is the opposite of stagnation. And especially when you've been ill, you want things to gently move. You don't want things to stagnate and accumulate, like sinus and all those lovely things. And then just release. And then just either rub your legs or pat or a combination of both. You can extend it to your arm, lower it back. And groin, either side of your knees. And then not forgetting the knee, just rub around the knee, underneath. Underneath there are 3 marble points like on the elbow, outer, 2 outer and 1 inner, and they are reflected on the backs of the knees, and then you've got acupressure points, little dents all the way around there. And then just bend your left knee, hold underneath, and just gently sway, swing, lubricating the synovial fluid. And then just very, very gently place that foot back down again, and underneath the other one. And just, if you don't like sitting cross-legged, you can have your legs out. We're going to come then to place the foot down, come into a very gentle cross-legged, and I mentioned about hearing, another of the senses. There are several ways to do this. You can watch if you really don't want to participate, because it is audible, and I don't often do audible. But the Tibetan way is humming bee breath, but Tibetan is just bringing the arms up, and then as you bring your hands over the head and linger over your ears, and then back to the heart. That vibration that you can really hear is vibrating not just your ears, the little bones, it's vibrating everything in your head, your mind, your brain, your hemispheres. We're just up as you breathe in. Very good for tinnitus.
I was going to say, yes, I do this exercise.
And then up again. It's excellent. So that's the Tibetan way. If you want the yogic way, there are 2 things that you can do. You either just stick your thumbs in your ears and just go and go on or whichever finger works. Or if you want a more complete experience, which might help you, you put your thumbs in your ears, your little fingers there, your 4th finger, ring fingers on your nose, 3rd and 2nd fingers above your below and above your eyes, and you're massaging acupressure point. So then you go, and you just do that for about 5 minutes. It's very, you just carry on if you want to. It's very soothing. You can do it at home. It's a form of Brahmari breath, humming bee breath. And it's called humming bee breath, although Brahmari is something else. But there are different ways of doing it. And as I said, it resonates in the ear. So particularly if you've had a bug and the sinus goes into the ear, which it does with me, and you're bunged
They're
up,
completely blocked.
then that's quite a nice way to start doing it. So before we leave the ears, I just wanted to say that there are a couple of points. So this point that we massaged here is also good for the ears and the eyes, just all underneath the ear, like there. Just massaging with the flats of your fingers, quite good. Oh, talking about ears, mine got blocked up after Christmas. I finally bought on Amazon the cheapest syringe designed by a doctor, very soft. They come with saline solution, sachets, 8 ounces of water, 3, it does 3 syringes. It completely cleared my ears. Completely cleared my ears. I've given one to Joss because she gets bunged up ears when she flies. So it just, it is. And she paid a lot of money to see a private doctor for them to do exactly the same thing. So I just
From Amazon, is it?
on Amazon,
I don't
yes.
think I could do that.
Couldn't
I've got a
you?
real problem with water in my ears with subcentral. Yeah, I hate going on to water.
Yeah,
can't stand
well, I
it.
do
I
too.
had my adenoids read. I think I've got a little bit of an issue
So do I.
because I've got lots of ear infections as a
Oh.
child. And I just can't bear, because with this, they used a syringe in the 60s.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
So
horrible
that'll put you
feeling.
off.
Well, in the meantime, and then the chakra point for the ears, which is not mentioned in the 7 chakra points. If you take your fingers and just run them from your temples, you know, that dent in the temples around the top of the ear, there's a little dent. If you were wearing a ski hat, it would be where the ski hat level is, just above the ear, there's a dent there. And just massaging all your fingertips there is your chakra point for your ears. And the colour associated with that, which again you won't find in the main chakra books, is burgundy, the colour of wine, red wine. And that's very helpful, again, for hearing, blocked ears, tinnitus again, and quite soothing for the head. Tinnitus seems to get worse with stress. So although I know doctors wise can't do very much with tinnitus, can they? But
Not
if
to
you're,
do, I think. No.
if you're de-stressed, then that can help quite a lot. All those things there. So then just lifting your shoulders, and we haven't gone onto our backs. So come very briefly onto the backs, and knees bent, feet hip width apart. Palms down. And just start with a couple of pelvic tilts. Flatten the back, as if you're going to lift the bottom up. Just calm the body down. There's a little gap under your back, under your lower back as you roll your coccyx towards the ground, your tailbone, and then flatten the back. And then let's come to stillness and just let your head, give the weight of the back of your head to the floor and just almost move your head from side to side. You can linger there for an in and out breath if you want to, on one side, or you can move it with your breath. But as you're rolling across the back of your skull, you're connecting into some acupressure points, and this can be again very soothing, particularly if you've been bummed up with whatever you've had, and your head's feeling miserable and whatever. This connects again to some acupressure points at the back of the head. And then just bringing the head back to the centre. Keeping your right foot where it is, although please feel free to adjust it. Hug your left knee into your chest. So in the same way that the eyes need to be moved through their full rotational movement for optimal health, plus diet as well, your leg, your femur and your hip socket also needs that rotational movement. So there's a choice, either to hold your knee with left knee with both hands and circle gently, or if you want a bigger circle, let your left knee drop out to the left, holding it with your left hand, and put your right hand on your right hip bone and make your circle that way. So the second option gives you a wider circle. Both hands on the knee with a small circle is more comforting. And then whichever way you've adopted, reverse your circle. And then hug your left knee into your chest once more. Open your left knee to the left and place your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Palms either resting on the abdomen or palms down. So you just sway your knees from side to side. Your hip will lift here. And you can sway a little bit, or you can sway quite a lot, almost over into a twist. So again, you're also massaging across your lower back and bottom, which can be deeply soothing. The weight of your body is doing the massaging for you. And yet the body's being supported by the mat, so the heavy duty back muscles aren't being asked to really support you that much. And then come back to the centre and hug the left knee into the chest. Hugging it in, then just let the left knee, both hands on it, drift away. And then hugging the knee in as you breathe out. And creating space as you inhale and move the knee away from you. So again, you're just massaging along the lower part of the spine now. And then one more time. And then very gently support the left leg as the left knee is replaced the left foot on the floor. Just sway both knees from side to side a couple of times. And then bring your attention to your right knee as you hug your right knee into your chest. Just taking in and out breath. And then again, you've got a choice to either rotate the right knee holding it with both hands, or if you want the wider circle, drop your right knee to the right, holding it with the right hand, and make your circle. Your left hand might go on your left hip bone. And then reverse your circle in the opposite direction. The rotation is given the hip, is a full rotation, going with full movement of the hip joint here. And then hugging the right knee into the right, just open the right knee out to the right and place the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Palms down as you gently sway the knees from side to side, lifting the hip off the ground. You can join in with your head as well if you want to. And how much you sway is up to you. And then very gently hugging the right knee in, and then hugging it in. Still holding it with both hands, let it drift away to arm's length. And in your own breath pattern, just hugging in and just letting it drift away. And then hug the right knee into the chest, hold it with the right hand, let the left knee join it, and hold the left knee with the left hand, so both knees are hugging into the chest. And just gently rock from side to side. Your elbow might even, your backs of your upper arm might connect with the ground as you rock from side to side. Weight of the head, back of the head will roll on the mat. Again, how much you sway from side to side is up to you. And then you can keep with this side-to-side sway, or you can come to hugging the knees into the chest and letting both knees drift away to arm's length in your own breath pattern. Or you might like to do a combination of movements. And when you're ready, supporting the legs to place both feet on the floor. Place the hands on the abdomen, elbows out to the side. And take 5 breaths in your own breath pattern, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, increasing your nitric oxide. No hurry, the breath will come when it comes. So it's through the breath that we can access emotions, just letting go. And again, tying into this, the astrological exceptional signs of the year. Connecting into our hidden emotions, or again, the hidden side of us relates to the left side of the body and the moon energy. And I think it's in Scorpio at the moment. Something's in Scorpio, it might be the moon, so that very much is hidden emotions. Anything in Scorpio tends to be quite deep and hidden. And then very gently come to hugging the knees into the chest and taking your time to come to the side or come to a seated position, however that works for you. And again, we're going to connect this sense of feeling and touch again, but through somatic movements that we've done before. So just come, legs out, or however you're comfortable seated. Just place your hands again, connecting the very helpful for the sinuses, opening position of Reiki. Hands either side of the head, thumbs behind. Maybe the head slightly down, back of the neck elongated. This is the opening position in Reiki, and you would stay here for about 5 minutes. It's calming and centering. Head forward is calming. If you were sitting and at a table, you could have your elbows on the table. I have a feeling that there is, and I don't know enough about it, but this holding the head like this almost represents as like a womb energy, and you know, when newborn babies like that swaddling, they like to feel very connected, very secure and held. So in Reiki, you'll be here for at least 5 minutes. And then the hand positions change. Your head is still slightly down to elongate the back of your neck. One hand comes at the back of the head on the occiput, and then the other hand comes to the forehead. And you just gently hold the back of your head and hold your forehead. A couple of breaths. Got acupressure points at the back of the head. And then you keep the hand on the forehead, but you drop the hand at the back of the head to the heart, and your head might now come up a little bit. The head and the brain-heart coherence, there's a link. Your chest slightly lifts, centering you. Soothing. If you were doing this at home, you might spend several more breaths in each position. And then you drop the hand from the forehead to the navel. So now you're connecting the heart to the gut. The brain, the gut has a certain primitive brain intelligence about it, or gut feeling. Again, very soothing and calming. And either stay like this with the hand at the navel and the hand at the heart, or you can take the hand from the navel to the heart. Just slightly bring your head forward. And I was going to read you a poem. I haven't got my glasses, so it might gobble through. But this poem is called Freedom. So, when I feel happy, I feel hurt. With suffering comes sadness, with happiness comes joy. The seed of anguish may be strong, the seed of love is more prolonged. Letting go gives us freedom, the one and only rider of happiness. In our hearts we cling to anything that will set us free. We hide from the life of discomfort of all that we see. So even